share, and welcome to another episode of the Wan Pot Show. I am your host, Nabare. Wanpot brings you everything from fashion, politics, music, sports and entertainment straight from our beloved Sierra Leone. Today we are at a very iconic building here in London City with the London Eye to my right and the Big Ben to my left. In this week's episode of Wanpot, we bring you news straight from Sierra Leone Broadcasting Television. Now let's have a look at this week's episode.
The UNFPA country representative monitored the exercise in the western area, Bombale and Potloko districts. The move is to abreast himself with the ongoing population and housing census and identify challenges on the ground. In the western area, the UNFPA country representative monitored the process in the Morrington and Kamayama communities. While in Makini, he engaged senior staff of Statistics Sierra Leone, the enumerators, field officers, and the Mafoki community in the Potloko districts. The district census officers for Bombale and Potloko district updated UNFPA representative on the start of the process.
Regarding the update process, it's just that we actually received the materials on time, and we try as much as possible to actually distribute them also on time. It was also very true that we could not reach them a week to the time because we are using one vehicle at that time, or later management came in and sent us 2 vehicles.
Actually at a slow pace, but after the first day, second day, and today the third, things are moving on well. We've deployed almost all the 984 enumerators to all these chiefdoms and 201 supervisors and 18 field officers. And we also have our mappers who have been assisting enumerators and supervisors in terms of actually determining their enumeration areas.
Speaking to SLPC, the NFPA country representative Dr. Diana Banji said he embarked on the spot visits to monitor the census, including the counting process, saying that UNFPA is the leading UN agency for the census. Dr. Diana Banji said UNFPA has also provided technical and financial support to the process through Statistics Sierra Leone. He said they would adequately address the challenges already highlighted at the start of the process.
Things are going relatively well. Like all censuses, there are a few challenges here. The few challenges we have seen is that, first of all, there were a few issues here and there with mapping, where it was not clear where the areas are, but these have been sorted out. As I said, sometimes we find that a structure during the mapping was in a different area, but when they go there, they find that actually it is supposed to be in another place. But these things have been sorted out. The mappers went out and cleared and ensured that structures, households are not counted 2 times.
He underscored the importance of census, which he described as the cornerstone for a nation's development planning. The NFPA country representative encouraged all Sierra Leoneans to take advantage of the process by ensuring that they are counted. The census, which started on the 5th, will last for 2 weeks. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown. Presenting his letters of credence to President Nkrumah, Ambassador Thomas Lynchon said he is assuming his mandate at a time that bears hope and huge challenges for Sierra Leone. He maintained that assumed with reasonable confidence that Sierra Leone has at last been able to get Ebola under control. The ambassador of the Swiss Confederation lamented that huge challenges have hit Sierra Leone that was in the process of rebuilding it and has in its course severely undermined some of the social, economic and political gains made since the end of the Civil War. He made it known to the president that he is aware of the devastating effects of the Ebola epidemic, which went far beyond the lives it claimed, and that he is also equally aware of the continued need for support. Ambassador Lynch noted that the international community owes it to the countries and communities ravaged by the Ebola to enable them come out of the crisis more resilient and firmly back on track on the road to inclusive social and economic development in an environment of stability and democracy.
Your Excellency, our bilateral relations have been cordial, albeit never neither very diverse nor very intense. There were periods when economic ties gained some significance. I'm referring, for instance, to the engagement of Alu Swiss in bauxite mining in the 70s and 80s of the last century. And there were other periods where humanitarian assistance and peace building dominated. The presence of a Swiss cooperation office in Freetown from 2001 to 2007 testifies to the latter.
Accepting the letters of credence, President Nkrumah informed Ambassador Thomas Lynch about the evil, strange and unknown Ebola disease that struck Sierra Leone, killing 3,500 people, crippling the country's health system and the economy. Conveying the government and people of Sierra Leone's deepest appreciation to the people and government of Swaziland for their support, the president told the Swiss envoy that as a government and people, they are inspired by the Switzerland's ethical neutrality and dedication to peace in the world. He added that their democratic model is an exemplary of orderly attachment to the direct sovereignty of the people from which the world must learn.
Mr. Ambassador, we are inspired by Switzerland's ethical neutrality and dedication to peace in the world. Your democratic model is an exemplar of orderly attachment of direct sovereignty of the people from which the world must learn. We applaud your country's support for Sierra Leone through the Swiss Development Agency and through other global financial development agencies.
In another engagement, the ambassador-designate of the Kingdom of Belgium, Hugues Chantrin, has also presented his letters of credence to the President Ernest Bai Koroma at State House. Ambassador Chantrin expressed regret that Sierra Leone and its neighbors were recently confronted by the worst Ebola virus ever since in the history of mankind and the world. This challenge, he pointed out, he is sure His Excellency the President is aware did not escape the notice of the government and people of Belgium, whose thoughts, minds and hearts were always with the victims of the tragedy, not to mention those courageous medical personnel who helped fight the virus by bringing assistance and support to the individuals, families and friends who fell victim to Ebola. The Belgian envoy pointed out that Belgium is especially proud of its national carrier, Brussels Airlines, who demonstrated its willingness and determination to maintain flights between Freetown and Brussels, thus helping to keep the international air corridor open between Sierra Leone and the rest of the world throughout the epidemic. He noted that their motivation and commitment were complemented by the resilience of the government, people and international partners and the leadership of Sierra Leone during exceptionally challenging times as everyone worked tirelessly to make Sierra Leone Ebola-free. Receiving the letters of credence, President Nkrumah conveyed through Ambassador Eugene Charrington to his distinguished monarch his best hopes for his continued personal well-being of the people of the Kingdom of Belgium. The President also intimated the Belgian envoy that an evil disease, strange and unknown in this part of the world, attacked Sierra Leone, killing thousands of Sierra Leoneans and crippling the country's health system. He reiterated that with the support from the international community, including the Great Kingdom of Belgium, they have, as a government and nation, defeated the Ebola virus.
in Sierra Leone, one of the problems facing women in enjoyment of their rights is their access to justice. I have no doubt that they have done a good job, that is why they are here. And I want to congratulate them. It's a problem that has also been created by other ministries. Even if all the other ministries are headed by men, but at least as a safeguard to ensure that we don't have a 0% executive that is all men. At least this gender ministry should be a safeguard wherein we have women all over in Sierra Leone.
My name is Bernadette Lahai. I represent Kenema District and the Sierra Leone People's Party in Parliament. Our grandmother, she was the head of the secret society. So in the house that we are dwelling, where we had a secret society shrine, you should not whistle in that house. And therefore, our grandmother will always tell us not to whistle. So sometimes, when I'm whistling in the house, my grandmother would drive me out, and sometimes she would run after me with a cane, that are abominating her society by whistling in the house, and that will be evoking evil spirits, So even my mother, she also is a traditionalist. She never went to school, and therefore, all of these things, the woman should not whistle, a woman should be subservient, a woman should not argue with her husband. But then, to some men also, it's like challenging them when a woman whistles. It's like taking on yourself, male quality that I'm strong, I'm this. I just whistle. I like whistling. So sometimes people ask me, oh, you are a man. I say, why? Because women should not whistle. I grew up with a very strong character, even when I was small. People will come and report me for standing up to them, Our former president used to say, he says, quality men are not afraid of quality women. When you start seeing men, putting all these roadblocks, against women, they use that as a way, of hiding sometimes their inefficiencies. But if you are confident, you will only see the presence of women as complementing your effort and not as something that is going to be detrimental to whatever you want to do. I'm on my way to town where I am looking forward to meeting Barbara and Salema too. We will be talking mostly on the progress we've made so far on the minimum 30% bill, because we think that this bill will give women the space to increase our participation in governance.
We've been advocating for over 10 years for an increase in women in decision making, because we believe that if we have more women in decision making, then they'll be able to push policies, laws, and all of that to ensure that the lives of women in Sierra Leone improve.
My name is Barbara Bangura, and I'm an activist campaigning for the advancement of women in Sierra Leone. You don't get up and say, oh, I'm going into politics overnight. It will not work. You need to plan. We need to work with them and build their capacity in terms of public speaking, in terms of campaigning, in terms of sourcing out funding, And another key thing which I think is really important for us, and I think it's important for all women anyway, is to have your family support and to prepare them. It's not just you being prepared, it's preparing your family, because one of the things that they use, particularly in Sierra Leone and in Africa, is sexuality. They'll tell you you're a prostitute, they'll say you're going out with this man, and if your husband hasn't been prepared, it could break the marriage. You need to demystify politics. Politics is seen as being dirty and violent. And I think it's deliberate to keep us out. So we need to get in there and make it clean, make it safer for everybody. I'm having a meeting with Bernadette and Salema too in about half an hour.
I'm really looking forward to meeting them. I haven't seen Salimatu in a while. The last time I saw her, she said she was going to go for Member of Parliament, which is plus. It's a step up from councillor. And I'm hoping that Bernadette, who is normally a role model, will be able to support her as well in, moving the process forward.
Politics is about creating a space for yourself. Nobody will not just give it to you. So you have to prepare your mind for whatever.
I am Salima Tukamara, a mother and the proprietress of the Anikoka Primary School. I'm planning to be a member of parliament.
I find myself in a community where they look at women as people that should just be at the kitchen and not in decision making. But I can equally think like a man, if not more than a man. They will say I am poor, I don't have money. Yeah, I'm happy that it's only poverty that you talk about, but you not talk about anything that is interfering with my credibility. You have seen around, you see the underdevelopment. It is written in the faces of the children, even us as women. Violence was really across the district. In fact, somebody wrote me a note. They said they are going to kidnap me. Yes. And one of my campaign members said people are saying they'll kidnap you until after elections.
And the member of parliament actually took out a gun. People are harassing our women.
They said, don't go there at night. But with the help of my guy, I came there and nothing happened. We were there till daybreak, the day for the elections. At the tail end of the nominations, somebody went ahead to get me out of the race. All of a sudden, when people are congratulating me, at night when the announcements were out, I was Tipex. My name was Tipex and somebody else replaced a man. And when it is announced, I felt shocked. I was shocked.
Okay, ladies, let's get down to business. Right now, we're trying to get the minimum 30% quota law in place. And we hear a lot of talk about the empowerment of women, but it's not really happening. So for it to happen, we really need to be there for each other and to build our self-confidence, our self-esteem. We're putting our bill in there, we will negotiate. We want it now.
Salon